Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Simanjuntak from Yayasan Sulu, Jakarta. Today I'd like to talk about our survey findings from our survey trip to Malimpung language community in South Sulawesi. And this is the title of my paper. Is Malimpung a dialect of Bugis? To begin with, let's see the language map of Malimpung. As you see here, this is the location of Malimpung community where they live. It is a small area surrounded by other big language communities. They are Endrekang, Maiwa, and Bugis. Malimpung is a language spoken by 9,000 people. It is part of a dialect chain that includes Endrekang and Bugis. According to the ethnologue, Malimpung is classified into Masen Rempulu group. Malimpung speakers were living in Malimpung, Sipatuo, and Padang Loang hamlet of Patampanua district of Pinrang Regency of South Sulawesi province. Okay, the next slide, I'm going to show you the survey tools we used. They are word lists, recorded text tests or RTT, sociolinguistic questionnaires, and observations. I'm going to describe them a little bit one by one. We used a 210 item word list to collect the lexical data on Malimpung. We then compare it with 11 word lists taken from different Bugis speaking locations. To make comparisons, we used COC, a user-friendly software program that quickly helps us analyze word lists from several language varieties. RTT measure comprehension between language variety according to cassette 1974. We brought a recording of a neighboring language variety and tested it with 3 Malimpung speakers. The result indicated how well Malimpung speakers understood the neighboring variety. And we used sociolinguistic questionnaires to collect information related to language use, language attitudes, and language vitality. And then the last one, observation. It helps us paint a larger picture of sociolinguistic situation we are assessing, according to Decker and Gramit 2012. And then now let's see the result of the analysis from the word list. This is the result from COC, which is called as COC similarity matrix. According to Blair 1990, a COC score of 80% and above means the languages are intelligible. A COC score of 60% shows that the languages are not intelligible. Word list comparisons show that of the 11 Bugis word lists, only 2 had high similarity with Malimpung. The other nine locations had 60% and lower. In the next slide, this is the second feature of COC, which is called as COC radial trees chart. You can see here that Malimpung is separating from Bugis. In the next slide, we will see the result of the RTT. So we asked 17 comprehension questions about the story they heard in a neighboring language variety. There were 3 respondents that took the RTT. Their scores were 53%, 60%, and 73%. According to cassette 1974, RTT mean scores of around 80% or higher with accompanying low standard deviations are usually taken to indicate that representatives of the test point dialect display adequate understanding of the variety represented by the recording. And then the next slide is from the observation. We got a strong impression that Malimpung people gain benefit of using Bugis identity when they leave their community. To them, it is more practical to say that they were Bugis than Malimpung, because we all know that Bugis people are well known for their success stories inside and outside Indonesia. Even one of the sultans in Malaysia is from a Bugis royal family. And then one of the informants told us that some of his extended family members were Malaysians living in Sabah and Sarawak. He and his relatives make regular visits to Malaysia, and they are identified as Bugis there. So the conclusion of my presentation, is Malimpung a dialect of Bugis? So the answer is not linguistically. The analysis results from word list comparison, RTTM sociolinguistic questionnaire, show that Malimpung to be a distinct language. However, if we examine them sociolinguistically, these two language varieties have much closer relationship. Thank you for listening. This is the end of my presentation.